Some of his associates. I still want to strangle them because Big wants to get his publishing back and his marketing. According to the headlines, Biggie's mom, Voletta Wallace, has just revealed how her son really felt about Diddy. And believe me when I tell you they're not positive. Voletta said in an exclusive interview with The Breakfast Club that she constantly had thoughts of murdering Biggie's associates. Some of his associates. I still want to strangle them, as if this isn't already bad enough. Diddy's ex-bodyguard, Gene Deal, basically told the world that Biggie hated Diddy in a recent interview. Gene has revealed to the world that Biggie and Diddy were not as close as Diddy made it seem, and that Biggie had been aware that his record executive friend was looting him at the time. I don't believe they were that close because Big used to always clown him. Do you understand? You know, but Big needed him just as much as he needed Big. And I think that it was basically just a business-type situation. But they were cool. But Puff had robbed Big and Big was robbing Puff. Gene also stated that Biggie had plans to take all of his publication rights back from Diddy. Puff was robbing him and had robbed him out of his publishing and his marketing. Puff, seeing how Big learned how to put his publishing in other people's name to stop him from getting the money that he was old. Well, Big had to play the game because Big wanted to get his publishing back and his marketing that he has sold out to Puff. Gene made a claim that the deceased rapper was in the midst of negotiating a highly profitable agreement worth over $60 million with Bad Boy. According to Deal, who had the opportunity to examine Biggie's Bad Boy contract while keeping an eye on Diddy's briefcase during a flight, the document outlined Biggie's earnings in increments of $250,000, but kept the publishing revenue under Pot's control. When Deal questioned Biggie about it, the rapper reportedly divulged the specifics of his new contract and the significant amount of money he would earn from it if Big had a contract. And what happened was when me and Puff rode on the plane coming back down there, Puff gave me his briefcase and everything like that. Like, yo, here, like me, carry this shit, say, all right, motherfucker, the 5 hours, 6 hours on this thing, let me see what's in the briefcase. And I seen Big contract, and then at the end of the contract, I was skimming through it. At the end, the contract said, oh, we're going to discuss about you getting your publishing and your marketing. And I think the contract was for so many years for like $62 million. It comes out to like $62 million. Fans have been shocked and have also been talking. One fan wrote, everybody knew B.I.G. would leave B.I.G. Outgrew Puff. Puff gave Big his break. But Puff could never be on a level without Big. If Puff couldn't B.I.G., nobody can. Another fan added, remember when Biggie's daughter said she wasn't invited to the Bad Boy reunion tour? Says a lot about Diddy. Puff. A third fan said, I always thought it was weird that Biggie started his label outside of Bad Boy, and whenever he spoke of Puff, it was always about business, not personal, like the way he spoke of other people like Jay-Z. Another fan with a slightly more interesting approach wrote, Biggie and Diddy definitely weren't as close as everybody thought. Puffy never shows up at any event or tribute related to Biggie or anything. In a distinct interview, Gene asserted that Diddy lied to the mother of a late rapper about not being acquainted with him. Gene believed that Diddy did so because he was aware that Gene would expose him and reveal what occurred on the night of Biggie's death. What? He didn't know me. The reason he probably did that was because he knew that I was going to tell Miss Wallace all what happened. Many have called Diddy out for pretending to be worried about Biggie, with one fan stating what's sick is that Puff still to this day acts like he was a good person to be. I really feel like he set this man up. The same man who helped him get to where he is now. Trust nobody. Another fan added, I find it interesting that Puffy isn't addressing anything. Gene is saying, it's been years now. Gene is speaking facts. A third fan posted, I remember after Biggie died, Miss Wallace didn't want Diddy to exploit her son anymore because back then, Diddy was faithfully talking about how much he missed Big and was involved in everything regarding Big. That includes the celebrations and the mentions on social media, just like how Diddy was doing him. And Gene is right. All that is propaganda. And I think Miss Wallace didn't want her son's legacy to be exploited like that anymore. I also think that is why Diddy barely mentions why he didn't go to Big's 50th celebration in New York. In addition to all this, Voletta Wallace has also revealed that she believes Diddy used her son for personal gain and selfish interest. The letter wrote in her book, I'm glad my son does not have to witness that the very people he thought he could ride and die with wouldn't think twice about using his mother. I'm glad that he's not here to see how they have used his image and his name. I believe Sean loved my son after he was dead. I used to tell Christopher all the time not to trust Sean. The letter also talked about how much money was on the table when Biggie signed with the label. The truth is, Christopher accepted the illusion of a friend and mentor for about $25,000. That's the amount Puffy lured my son with. That was a lot of money for Christopher back then. As a 19-year-old, he had never seen that much at one time in his life, Wallace wrote. It was enough money to make my son believe Puffy was ready to do anything for him. It was enough to buy blind love and loyalty. The handling of her son's murder investigation over the years has also been condemned by Biggie's mother, and understandably so. In an interview with the Daily Mail, Follett expressed that she experiences daily anguish from the fact that she will never see her son again and that the perpetrator is still at large. The hip-hop matriarch asserted that she and the LAPD detectives investigating the incident are aware of the identity of her son's killer, but a cover-up has prevented the case from ever being resolved. She stated, I have a very good idea of who murdered Christopher, and I genuinely believe that the LAPD know exactly who did it too. The grieving mother went on to add that they've done their investigation, but they just refuse to move forward. I don't know why they haven't arrested who was involved. It seems to me that it's one giant conspiracy and someone is definitely being protected somewhere down the line. There's no closure for me until that murderer is behind bars and sentenced. There has been a great deal of speculation regarding Diddy's involvement in the murder of Biggie. Some believe that Diddy, rather than Biggie, was the intended victim. Gene fueled this theory by alleging that Diddy was the actual target on the night of Biggie's murder. According to Deal, Diddy arranged to hit on himself after a gathering at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles, where Biggie was scheduled to perform. Deal stated that Diddy's security team had gotten information about the hit and taken Diddy to a hotel, abandoning Biggie at the museum. The go nowhere that night. I said, Puff, I got some intel. The guys are coming to kill us tonight at the museum party. He said, Gene, I don't want to hear that shit. The SUV carrying Biggie was mistakenly fired upon by hitmen who were targeting Diddy. According to Deal's claims, this is not the first time such allegations have been made. Jaguar Wright, a former member of The Roots and a neo-soul musician, also alleged in a recent interview with the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast that Diddy had a role in Biggie's murder, which she learned from people with knowledge of the situation. According to Jaguar Wright he had a motive for wanting Biggie dead as he saw him as a competitor in the music industry. Jaguar also spoke about how Diddy profited from Biggie's death. Puffy has been making money off of Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive. People keep forgetting he hadn't turned 25 yet. He was still 24 when he died. It's been over 25 years. Clearly a Biggie Smalls verse. It's very valuable. So then what the fuck happened to the commission? What happened to that album? It was recorded. It was being mixed and mastered upon Biggie's death. It was supposed to have came out that summer after Biggie's album because Biggie's album was slated. He died a week and a half before his album came out. Then the commission was supposed to come out, and that was supposed to be his exit from Bad Boy and then starting his own company. Puffy has been making money on that boy's name, Golgotha. He believed it supported all of that. Boy, that's real. Yeah, the more money you make, the more problems you get. The Notorious B.I.G., a renowned figure in hip-hop culture, met an unexpected demise on March 9, 1997, leaving the music industry and beyond in shock. His death remains a controversial and enigmatic case in modern history. Born in 1972 in Brooklyn, New York, Biggie rapidly gained recognition in the city's underground rap scene. He signed with Bad Boy Records owned by Sean P. Diddy Combs in 1992 and released his first album, Ready to Die, in 1994. The album received both critical and commercial success, cementing Biggie's position as one of the most accomplished and influential rappers of his era. Even though he was very successful, Biggie's life was riddled with scandal and violence. He was engaged in a feud with fellow rapper Tupac Shakur, who was also killed in 1996. And many believe that the two deaths were connected to the ongoing rivalry between hip-hop groups on the East and West Coasts. On the night of his death, Biggie attended a party hosted by Vibe magazine in Los Angeles while traveling in the front seat of a GMC Suburban after leaving a Vibe magazine party in Los Angeles. A vehicle pulled up beside the Notorious B.I.G. and opened fire, striking him 4 times, one of which was fatal to his chest. He was quickly taken to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where he died less than an hour later. The circumstances surrounding his death have remained a mystery to this day. Despite a thorough investigation and several clues, the case remained unsolved for nearly a decade. Over the years, several theories and narratives have circulated, including allegations of police misconduct and gang participation. Some people believe that Biggie's assassination was orchestrated by individuals within the music industry. Despite his untimely death, Biggie's legacy has continued to grow stronger over time. He has become one of the most recognized and influential musicians in hip-hop, and his music continues to inspire a new generation of artists. However, the pain and sorrow of his loss have never dissipated for his loved ones, supporters, and admirers. Voletta Wallace became a staunch advocate for justice and worked tirelessly to uncover her son's killer. She publicly implored anyone with information on the case to step forward and cooperate with investigators. In addition to managing her son's fortune and safeguarding his legacy, Voletta made it her mission to seek justice for her beloved son. The establishment of a Christopher Wallace Memorial Fund by Voletta Wallace to help youngsters in Brooklyn, where her son grew up, is a testament to her son's legacy beyond the music industry, regardless of the unresolved circumstances of Biggie's death. His impact on the music industry and popular culture remains indisputable. Biggie's impact on the music industry and popular culture is undeniable, as he paved the way for numerous artists who followed in his footsteps. His influence is evident in the work of contemporary rappers such as Jay-Z and Kendrick Lamar. And that's it from us today. Until next time, bye.